What's up, good people? This is Chef Dre Blast coming at you with today's recipe for you and your home. Now, I designed this recipe for lower income families that are definitely working, maybe through some financial struggles or some issues. And it's actually the first one we're going to do was one of my personal favorites. When I was a kid, we ate a lot of beans, right? I remember a little story my sister would tell me, and I always laugh about it. She would, my mom made beans and cornbread pretty regularly. And I'd be like, beans again? And my sister would kick me under the table, right? So I always found that it was just very interesting that I would do that. So this first recipe we're going to do today is Chef Andre's vegetarian chili. Protein was very expensive back in the day. It's still expensive on this day. But what I'm going to do is show you how to make it and also have it be fulfilling to feed about 6 people. So we're going to hop into it. Now, I've already pre-measured my ingredients, but I'm going to go through the ingredients list for you because I got my recipe right here next to me so that you can know what's going on. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to adjust this camera real quick. All right, hope you guys can see everything. Beautiful. So first thing we'll start with the chili. As you can see here, we have our garlic. It's about a tablespoon of garlic, tablespoon of salt, tablespoon of pepper. Then we have 3 tablespoons chili powder, 3 tablespoons of cumin. And all this you can find at your store relatively cheap, especially done with spices. And then that right there is the oil. Now the ingredients are extremely simple, right? So the ingredients that come with it are 3 different beans, which is black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, and some tomatoes. And so what I've done is I took the ones that had no salt because we're going to add salt into it so we can have some of those minimal sodium issues that we're going to have in it. And then of course we got green peppers and we have red onions. So it's relatively simple, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to start with the green peppers. Now everybody cuts their green peppers different, but I tend to like to do it this way. Turn it upside down like this, and I do my best to peel it off at the edges. Now pre-wash your vegetables before you do them. That's what I did. And so you just find that sweet spot and you cut around it because this helps to minimize waste. It gives you an opportunity to keep more of the pepper with you. All right, and then you just take what's left. I have what you call a rubbish jar. So once you get done with it, you do that. Now, typically I would tell you to do a medium dice or a small dice, but on this one, we're going to do what's called a rough cut. Okay. And so with the rough cut, you're just going to take it. And I use everything, by the way. I don't cut out the little white pieces and stuff like that because they're going to change once you saute them anyway. And then I have another little container that I'm going to put that in right there. And so this is very simple to do. It's not something that, parents really have to watch the kids unless your kids don't have good knife skills. And so you're going to use 2 peppers. 2 peppers is going to be the first thing that you use. Once again, like I said, rough chop. No big. Now there's probably going to be some lapse in this because of the cook time so you can see the finished product. But we're going to see if we can put this together. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. See, this is very simple. And you can cut them to the size that you would like. If you want to cut them smaller, cut them smaller. You want to cut them bigger, cut them bigger. You know me? I like to do rough chop. That was something that I learned in culinary school. Rough chop is important to know. A little bit firmer because of the size, right? Boom. Okay. And it's that simple. All right, you got your onion. So, like I said, make sure I always look at my recipe. The recipe calls for 2 cups of onion, 2 cups of green peppers, which is roughly 1 onion, 2 green peppers. And so me typically, when it comes to these, I cut off these edges. Sometimes I'll use them, especially if you're making stock. I always leave this edge on the end because it makes it easier to slice. But then I just slice through them because we're going to saute them anyway. Boom. Very simple. Put them in there with the green peppers. And you're good to go. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to take our oil and we're going to start our saute. All right. So what you typically want to do is make sure that your pan is hot. Pour your oil in to saute. All right. Then once you pour your oil in to saute, once that gets hot, we're going to put the ingredients in. All right, so now that our grease is hot, right, first thing you're going to do is you're going to put in all your spices. So we'll put that salt in there, pepper. I know I said that in the wrong order. That means your pan's a little too hot. You might have to take it off the eye. Put that one in there. We'll put that one in there. That was the cumin and the chili powder. Put it back on. You're just gonna mix it all in there together. All right, y'all see that? Makes a nice little roux. Put our peppers in there. And your onions. You get those nice and mixed in, nice and seasoned. Because it's all going to cook down. Alright? Give that a few minutes to cook down. And now that you've let it cook down, pour in your beans with the juice and tomatoes. Because the beans is the water that you need, as opposed to adding, you know, some. I know in the recipe there's water inside the recipe, regular old tap water, you know, that goes in the recipe. But when you take the liquid that's from the cans, you know, you don't need to add that additional water. You take those, you let that sit. You let that sit, put a lid on it, 20 minutes, it'll be ready. So I appreciate you tuning in for Chef Dre Blast's Veggie Chili. I appreciate your time. Have a good one. Make sure you review the recipe. Stay safe in the kitchen.